Human beings are searching for the personal experience of reality. They are seeking to come to understand themselves, to find a reason for their own existence.
And so you go round and round and round, ever chasing the illusion that there is something outside yourself, outside your here and now, to be attained that will make things better.
No guru, no method, no teacher, and no nothing else either.
Welcome, fellow Phoenixes. It's often stated in spiritual circles that we must strive for balance to find happiness. However, on my personal quest for happiness, I have found balance to be as impossible to maintain as perfection is to achieve. Let's be honest, to achieve balance, one is stating the need to strike and maintain a permanent state in an impermanent world. Maybe we should shift our focus off of trying to find balance in our lives and instead search for harmony. I suggest that we learn to harmonize because balance is bullshit. And before I really elaborate on why I find balance bullshit, I'd like to take a moment and focus on what we are grateful for today. This is funny. I'm grateful that I'm recognizing the fact that balance is bullshit. Because in trying to achieve balance, I've created a lot of imbalance in my life, if that makes sense. And I'll elaborate more when I get into the actual episode after I get past a couple of little necessary trivialities. So real quick, I just want to say if you could review this podcast on iTunes, that would be greatly appreciated. I'll read your review at the beginning, kind of like give you a shout out. Also, if you would like to purchase my book, it's available on Amazon.com. That is Vagrant Verses. It's 10 years of poetry. Check out some stuff in my store if you'd like. Get a tarot card reading. Yeah, those things help support this podcast. Now I'm going to get into the tarot card for the day. And this is from my Instagram or Facebook tarot page. And the card for the day is Sun Eagle, also known as 55, Self-Mastery from the Mystic Art Medicine deck. And it says, the painting, Sun Eagle, depicts both a luminous spirit and eagle flying towards you with a snake in his talons, representing abundance. The eagle indicates illumination and higher vision, bringing wisdom and clarity in the broadest perspective. The stag opens the door to a watery, misty underworld as the stairways ascend to higher levels. The sky, bursting with energy on the horizon over the ocean, reflects rays of the sun emanating from the crown of the eagle in flight. The art of self-mastery is about learning how you direct your mental and emotional focus. Select your thoughts just as you choose what you will wear each day. This is a power you can cultivate. Working on the mastery of your mind is the only thing that is worth trying to control. Drop all other ideas of control but that. For if you don't learn the art of self-mastery, you will constantly find yourself caught in a whirlpool. You cannot be in control of your physical world. The task suggested before you is to master your inner response to your external world, your thoughts and emotions. The watery underworld suggests emotional flux, perhaps triggered from the subconscious. There are times when you feel angry or frustrated. During this time, know that you are being tested. View it simply as information, take a deep breath, and prepare to deal. Know that you can call upon the resources to transform these challenges. Make an accurate assessment by honestly looking at your life circumstances and take action to make changes for the better. Perhaps you are spending more time dealing with conflicts in your life than creating opportunity. Your soul is shining the light of awareness for you to fly like the eagle. You can soar higher playing with the thermals while keeping a sharp eye on negative thoughts. Take this solo flight to reach your highest potential. And that reading really hits home. Actually, I was having a debate with somebody earlier. And my standpoint was that pain is something that can help us grow and help us reach new levels. And ultimately, we ended up agreeing in some ways. There was just some discrepancy in what that meant in like a larger sense of things. But this whole card really talks about learning how to position your mind for like the most, positioning yourself to have the best opportunity based on what your mindset is. You can look at situations in like a victim or advocate mode, and you can really position yourself on any end of the spectrum based on experiences. And the only thing that really shifts it is how you look at it. Like the experience of me having bipolar psychosis or drug-induced psychosis, whatever the hell happened to me, I could stay stuck in the victim position and say, why did this happen to me? I feel like shit. Nobody gets it. Everybody's going to judge me. Or I can say, people are going to judge me if I don't do anything, and people are going to judge me if I do say something. Like, what attitude puts me in a better position to get a quality of life that I would like? And that's facing the uncomfortableness of the situation and utilizing the suffering of that situation to further develop myself. I'm going to read one more reading. Maybe I'll read the other one on the closing. This one is from a Cherokee Feast of Days, and it's just the daily reading for February 26th, which is today. Most of us are like the trees that grow along the moist ravine. We are where we get the best nourishment. Others are undernourished and don't know what to do about it. Many times they reject the very thing that would help because of their preconceived notion and misunderstanding of what is true. Obviously, if what we are doing shows no improvement in us, we are not doing the right thing. Most answers and remedies are simple if we're not so hard-headed and determined to make it complicated. The sooner we recognize emotions, lack of rest, and a constant flow of negative thought as enemies, the sooner we get a handle on the real problem. It takes constant monitoring to know ourselves as we really are and begin to clear the way. One old elm under which the representatives of the tribes were wont to meet will cover us all. And that was said by Wa-o-wa-wa-no-onk, 1847. And what this is kind of saying really ties into the whole concept of why I chose to talk about balance being bullshit and harmony being the way. Because what this is saying is, if what we are doing shows no improvement in us, we are not doing the right thing. And balance has been on like the forefront of my mind for a long time. And what I'm really finding is that doesn't work. And I'm going to save that for when I get into the discussion more. I want to read a couple quotes, and then I'll really get into why harmony is the way and why I feel that balance is bullshit. And I'll give my understanding of what those words mean. Maybe it isn't true for you. This is my new thing. I need to focus on harmony and not balance. So this is a quote here, and it says, harmony makes small things grow. Lack of it makes great things decay. And that's kind of cool because it ties into the Cherokee Feast of Days reading. And that was said by Sallust. And balance is sustained harmony. And that's my quote. And you're like, but you just said balance is bullshit. Let me explain. Let me explain. And here's just a brief definition of what harmony is. Agreement or concord. The quality of forming a pleasing and consistent whole. And that's what I like about it, is the quality of forming a pleasing and consistent whole. So my understanding of balance, and this could just be my understanding of how balance was applied to, I will say that my understanding of balance is like having everything well-rounded and even and equal. And the reality for me personally is that's absolutely unattainable on the day-to-day, really. And when you're trying to achieve balance within a day, that becomes very hard. Like the more precise that you make some kind of measurement, the easier it's going to be thrown off. Like let's just say that you have a triple beam scale. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of people listening either did or still do use substances and have used a scale before. And let's just say that you're measuring in tenths or hundreds of a gram. That little bit can throw a big imbalance in everything. So part of the mental health conditions that I have or was diagnosed with, one being borderline personality disorder, which is like an emotional imbalance for a day period, versus bipolar, which is imbalance over like a week or month period. That really made me want to strive for a more central point. Now, my understanding of harmony is there's different give and takes of, like, let's just use music, for example, which is how most people probably equate harmony. There's different sounds, but you can have these different sounds sound pleasing together. So let's just say that the sounds of my life are like recovery, work, creativity, personal business, spiritual exploration, and fellowship with other people. Now, trying to balance all those things and give equal attention to them all within a period of a day is freaking difficult, and that creates a lot of stress for me personally. Trying to achieve balance on a daily basis, like consciously trying to achieve balance, is stressful for me personally. Maybe it isn't for you. That's great for you if it's not. But on the same token, trying to find harmony in that situation would be creating a routine that can incorporate all those elements. And maybe they have different expressions of how they play out in the day, but like different time periods or whatever. But overall, the composition is, what is the definition here? Is forming a pleasing and consistent whole. And I think that that's one of the things that's important for me, like trying to maintain balance as a person who's largely imbalanced and who has to deal with the inconsistencies of life is difficult. But if I'm striving for harmony, as the pitch of my life changes, like let's say no major event, no major event, major event, if I'm working for harmony, me personally, I am better able to recalibrate myself with these events that occur within a day, within a week, within a whatever, and position myself to have a more pleasing and consistent whole. And one of the caveats of this that I would say, in my quote, I said, balance is sustained harmony. So what I'm saying is when I focus on harmony overall, on a day-to-day basis, when I try to focus on having a pleasing and consistent whole, having my actions and words and thoughts align with each other, and putting energy into creating the reality I want, into correcting the pitch of unharmonious things, or to cut unharmonious things out of my life or repurpose them. But when I do that on a long enough time period, I could say that overall things become balanced, but I can't consciously, me personally, can't consciously strive to achieve balance, because balance is an impossibility overall. And you're saying, you just said it was impossible, but harmony is sustained balance. Or balance is sustained harmony, rather. What does that mean? The approach that I'm taking on that is by having harmony in my life and letting things be more fluid on a small scale over a period of months, years, decades, that can form into a homogeneous balance point. I hope that that makes sense to people. It makes sense to me. Not everything I says makes sense to everybody. Not everything I says has to make sense to everybody. You can think I'm full of shit. That's fine. It makes sense to me. I'm the one who has to live this philosophy, or at least I'm exploring this philosophy, because I just find that the whole balance thing is bullshit. So, yeah, I think that that's really it. Like I had said at the beginning, check out some of the other stuff that I've been doing. I'm going to read one more daily reading. This is from the Daily Tao, and it says predilection. To those who follow Tao, do so from their own predilection. There are no promises, yet the rewards are immeasurable. Of all the spiritual traditions, following Tao is among the least popular. Its adherents are poor and veiled with humility. In comparison, many traditions offer heaven, forgiveness, comfort, ecstasy, belonging, power, and wealth. Tao offers only three things: sound health, a way through bewilderment of life, and liberation from the fear of death. That is why there are so few followers of Tao. There is no glamour, there is no congregation, there is no ranking. You are either in the state of Tao or you are temporarily out of it. When you die, you die. You have to be tough to follow Tao. If you can avoid being discouraged by poverty, isolation, and obscurity, you will find an unshakable devotion that will last your entire life, and rewards will come in slow and subtle ways. You may not be suddenly rich and influential, but you will discover, to your great delight, that there is a secret source of sustenance. Once you taste that, all your doubts will fade, and both poverty and loneliness will be easier to bear. I'm just going to let you chew on that and just say love, light, respect, and all that stuff. Try to find that inner sustenance. Search for that Tao experience. Yeah, love and light. Peace.
Give me